Guys, UFC 290 is upon us, and my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers, bet $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and the method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy, and DraftKings is offering huge UFC contests this weekend with massive cash prizes up for grabs. Click on the link below. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys, do it right now. Use the promo code Sonnen, and all new customers who bet just $5 on any wager are going to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Sonnen only at DraftKings. Bo Nickal is the biggest favorite in UFC history. He's getting ready to take on an opponent who's 7-0. Short notice. Main card. What do you do with Bo from here? What if Bo gets another first round finish, for example? What do you do with Bo from here? And this is a situation unlike any in the past. There's parts of the Bo scenario that resembles Sugar Sean's career, where you had what was known to be a very good fighter, but didn't have a ranking. You then have what appears to be a very popular fighter that doesn't have the ranking. You then have what is a main card fighter, an extremely coveted spot. How do you end up in an extremely coveted spot if you don't have the skills to back it up? Well, who's to say he doesn't have the skills? Well, your ranking committee. That's who says he doesn't have the skills. There's the answer to your question. You don't get to be right, and your ranking committee gets to be right. One of you is wrong. Now, if the ranking committee has to follow some type of protocol that they have never disclosed to us, such as you must fight X amount of times, or you must have X amount of success, or you have to show us this over X amount of opponents, there's nothing like that anywhere. So either you don't know what you're doing in the rankings committee, or Bo's not that good. It's not like an overly complex scenario. If you're a professional and your job is to rank these guys, and you have somebody in Bo Nickal that nobody wants to fight. See, this is the relevant part. People used to tease Sean. This is the difference between Bo and Sean. People used to tease Sean. Now, those people didn't do the teasing until the paperwork and an opponent was already done, so that it could not be them. They were not eligible. But as soon as they were in that protected position of not next, they would come out and they would start speaking up, and they would start saying how wrong this is. How ranked fighters or former championship fighters could be on the same card lower and earlier in the evening than Sean. Sean would be third from the top with no ranking. They were speaking up and they were saying this was wrong. But nobody's done that with Bo, and I'm pointing to you a difference. It is stunning to me, stunning, that in 2023, we could have middleweights that are so scared of a 25-year-old kid who's only done this a handful of times that they won't call him out, that they will stand down, that they will think that they were slighted. They will tell people that they were slighted, but they won't say that kid's name. They'll think they should be on TV. They'll think that their record should matter, but they won't say the guy's name. They won't call him out. They're not willing to do the heavy lifting. And you have a rankings committee that doesn't have to follow a certain protocol, but they're not ranking. So either the rankings committee doesn't know what they're doing, or the UFC, right? They can't both be right. One of them is drastically wrong. So what do you do with Bo from here? DraftKings, the leading partner of the UFC, has Bo as the biggest favorite in the company's history. And he's taking on an undefeated opponent. I can't tell you a lot about the opponent. The opponent's very short, very stocky. I used to compete with in wrestling a guy that had a very tough build. His name was Zach Thompson. When I read about this guy, that he was hard to beat. Nobody's touching him. He's 5'8", fighting 185 pounds. I knew, hey, that body type's tough. That's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to try to get under and try to get an attack on. That body type alone is going to create some problems for Bo. I don't have anything more than these numbers. I don't have anything more than the tail of the tape. I'm looking at this guy, and they've got him as the biggest underdog in the sport's history, but he's never lost. He's never lost in this sport before. Not to mention he has a courage that the other 85-pounders don't have. And somehow, an undefeated record and courage that outdoes everybody else doesn't get you a ranking. Somehow, that isn't relevant. So if that's not relevant now, how's it going to be tomorrow? Like, does Bo go out, he beats this guy? Let's just say, for example, he's got another first-round stoppage, and all of a sudden we find a ranking for him on Tuesday? Why? Why and how? Why then and how would this match change the ranking? And it just creates for a very curious conversation. And this isn't a situation that I can point to before. The closest I can get you is Sugar Sean, but guys, we're actually speaking up and saying his name. We have a whole bunch of middleweights that are saying, hey, to hell with my career and my dreams. Let this guy go. Let him go, push him to the top, put him on the fancy card, put him in the fancy placement. Let him have what, according to the odds makers, is the easiest match in the history of the company. I mean, that's what it means, guys. That's what it means. I don't like that. I don't like that for Mr. 7-0 that's stepping in at short notice. I like him to get some praise here. Somebody else has done this to him. I'm reporting it to you. They're saying that he is the easiest match in the history of this sport. Any division, any weight class, any way that you want to do it, is the most lopsided odds ever. And it's a main card match. You got a whole bunch of 185-pounders that don't have that opportunity. They'd like it, though, or at least they said that they'd like it. And they have sat there with their mouths completely shut. And you have a rankings committee that won't acknowledge any of this. But somebody here has to be wrong, because their opinions are vastly different. So I'm just asking you, who is it? Who's wrong?